Hello and welcome to Magator 96, and today we're going to talk about Toaru Majutsu no Indeks. Today's topic will be a couple of nuns, but sadly it isn't the kinky type you see in a certain genre of movies. The nuns I'm going to cover in this video are more devoted to God, but they have both some peculiar traits, like one of them is an airhead while the other is a sadist. I'm of course talking about Orsola Aquinas and Agnese Sanctis. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I'll be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you go and read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with Orsola. Orsola Aquinas is a nun in training formerly under the Roman Catholic Church who specializes in preaching to pagan countries and to decoding written codes. This skill in decoding puts her into harm's way as she wanted to decipher and destroy the infamous book of the law, prompting the very institution she is in to attack her and forcing her to seek refuge. She is first introduced in Toaru Majutsu no Indeks in distress and her plight and struggle in chronicles in the Orsola Aquinas rescue arc. Afterwards, she received the protection of the Anglican Church and became a member of its Church of Necessary Evil. And yet, she never truly abandons being a Roman Catholic, though she no longer serves under its institution and instead serves the Angelic Church. Her mind can trail off from one subject to another or even forget important details, a fact that Toma, who refers to her way of thinking, resembles that of a grandmother, and many of her peers detest, such as Itsuwa, who doesn't want to be compared to her. She is best described as an extremely large-breasted nun, well known for being airheaded and moving at her own pace. However, when she gets serious, people can't help but listen, for her words bear weight. This is exemplified by her speech to the Agnese forces regarding the difference between the Roman Catholic Church and the forces that helped her, and her speech before the women of Necessarius regarding the stance they should take in the upcoming war. This is perhaps due to her skill as a preacher, and it comes to no surprise that she has a church built in her honor. She is very kind and courteous, and has shown that she does not bear a grudge on those that had tormented her, as with the case at her next meeting with Agnese, going even out of her way to try and save her alongside with the Amakusa Christians. Despite her kindness, however, she has a hidden side. She herself states that there are many sides to women. She seemingly knew the importance of the cross necklace that Toma gave to her, allowing her to at least hope that she will be saved by the Angelic Church. Moreover, prior to her defection to the Angelic Church, she has shown suspicion towards the kindness of others towards her without reward, as with her justification for leaving the Amakusas, and doubting Toma after he mistakenly handed her to the Agnese forces. She later discovers the fault of her character during the punishment by the Agnese forces, believing that she and the rest of the Roman Catholics are driven by lies and suspicion, while those who have helped are driven by their beliefs and ideals. Although later she admits that there are all sorts of people in the Roman Catholic Church, in response to Toma's surprise to Lucia and Angelica risking their lives to save Agnes, apologeting of the behavior because of her previous distrust towards the Amakusas. Moreover, she claims that she has no confidence regarding herself when it comes to knowing what's right and wrong, or the wisdom and consideration to decide for others. Regardlessly, her natural kind and ambitious nature allows her to gain quick friends among strangers such as Sherry Cromwell. As for her past, much of her past is unknown, though it is hinted that she might be the nun that Angelina refers to in her childhood that has been serving her, Lucia and Agnes with olives for the 3 days. She later travels around to preach to 3 pagan countries, giving her much renown with the Roman Catholic Church. Despite this, she still refers to herself as a nun in training. It is unknown how she gained the skill in decoding written codes, but she has probably learned enough to have confidence in deciphering the Book of the Law, though in complete copies. Her home is located in Chioggia, Italy, though it is unknown how long she lived there. As for her abilities, she is an expert decoder of written codes and many times have been called alongside with Sherry to help Toma and the others in missions. Orsola is also an expert in spreading Christianity in pagan countries, and despite being subjected to countless hostilities and violence from all sides, she carried no weapon. Her experience as a preacher allows her to negotiate or deceive enemies and of course help those who are in need. During the invasion of London by the Crowley's Hazards, Orsola temporarily acted as the host of Isis Demeter, a divine mixture based of the combination of Isis, the Egyptian goddess of life and resurrection, and Demeter, Greek goddess of spring and agriculture. When active, the Isis Demeter took the form of a rose made of gold and diamond. When active and possessing Orsola, she was clothed in a revealing silk and gold outfit, what Europeans might imagine an Egyptian priestess to wear. The tool itself took the form of a giant flowery ring of gold and diamond behind the host and resembling a halo. Having Orsola as a host enables Isis Demeter to display the true power of the divine mixtures, which the others were unable to do being used in the proper way. This power was rooted in the divine mixture origins, the twisted interpretation of ancient Egypt by the ancient Greeks, who forcibly applied their own culture, knowledge, and perception to the unfamiliar culture they saw when they first crossed the Mediterranean, and their matching of Egyptian deities to their own equivalents with similar roles to feel as though they understand them. With a host's viewpoint and capacity for bias and prejudices which a mere tool doesn't have, the divine mixture was capable of utilizing the aspect of bias and perception derived from the Greeks' refusal to accept the new gods that they had discovered and making comparison with no concern for the original Egyptian myth. Isis Demeter took the intolerance, malice, and refusal of individuals to understand one another and converted it into offensive power. It functions in a similar way to an electrical transformer, the life force circulating with two bodies, Orsola and her adversaries, in place of two connected dots of different sizes, and stabilize its power the greater the rift between the two. Moving on to Agnese. Agnese Sanctis is a Roman Catholic Church nun who leads a paramilitary force called Agnes Forces. A girl with a troubled past, her devotion to her religion makes her out to be a total ruthless leader against enemies. She is first introduced in Toaru Majutsu no Indeks as an antagonistic character, but later reforms and joins Necessarius and is a representative of Roman Catholicism in England. After the war, with better relation between the churches and after much effort by Agnes Forces, the group returns to the authority of the Roman Catholic Church. Agnes, when not on duty, acts like any other girl her age. She is clumsy, particularly due to her choice of footwear, which she refers to as her own style. She gets embarrassed when something lewd happens to her, such as when Toma fell between her tights and is afraid of slugs. Like many people from the magic side, she is intimidated and somewhat impaired by technology, such as when the washing machine she used goes haywire after stuffing an entire futon into it. She also does not like the idea of having to converse with someone who is a foreigner using the foreign native language, opting that she would rather have them converse in other tongues. Indeed, Toma described her way of speaking Japanese as strange, and is referenced as a mix of Japanese polite honorifics and rude words, and is taught by Stal Magnus as someone who has learned Japanese from talking mostly to detectives or police officers. She also apparently sleeps in her underwear and walks and talks in her sleep, though this has only been seen once. She is extremely devoted to the cause of her church, using deceit on others, such as when she tricked Toma and the angelic church to hand Orsola to her, and blindly following the dogma of her church, such as when she puts Orsola through a mock trial of sin. She despises all magicians, despite them being present and calling magic as Christian black magic, though uses magic as well, justifying her magic as part of the church history, and deems all non-Roman Catholics as animals. Orsola referenced this as part of her doubts and superstition as being a Roman Catholic, which extends to all the members of her group. Orsola referenced that Agnes' actions are based on doubts and not on faith and trust. Indeed, after being cornered by Toma, style, and with his innocence and the Amakusa remix style of church, there was doubt in Agnes' forces if they could turn the situation to their favor, and doubted Agnes' capability to defeat Toma, who hesitated with her actions. She is a ruthless leader when it comes towards enemies of the church, whose followers are shown to be loyal to her completely, willing to cast mutilation and beat a defenseless woman for her. Despite her doubts and their faults, she has a kind of trust towards each other, especially to Lucia and Angelina, knowing that they will do their job. With regards to allies from other sects or organization, she has no problems in deceiving them, giving limited information and embellishing the truth. Her personality against enemies make her out to be a sadist who loves toying and making others suffer, as experienced by both Orsola and Toma. She reforms later after being defeated and then later saved by Toma after the events of the La Ringa del Mare Adriatico. She joins Necessarius and remains the leader of her forces as well as the remaining Roman Catholics, serving her connection with Vatican, which scapegoated them and then used them as tools. Now she has shown that she is more carefree, befitting that of a child. She has shown that she can be strong along with other girls' shenanigans, such as Orsola suggesting that they wash the clothes they are currently wearing, play cards with her friends, as well as being referred to as a girl who likes flipping other skirts but hates getting hers flipped. Despite this, she still has shades of sadism as one Knight of England discovers, but more importantly, her loyalty to her comrades remain intact. As for her past, Agnese lived in Milan, Italy during her childhood. Her parents were killed for reasons unknown during a very young age and became a street urchin living on whatever scraps of food she could find. She was later taken in by the Roman Catholic Church along with a number of other girls, where she eventually meets with Lucia and Angelina and became close friends with them. Here she became devoted to Roman Catholicism and decided to make the church they were in more comfortable. It is unknown how, but Agnese later gains or forms a unique Roman Catholic paramilitary force named after her. A great achievement at her young age, and Soho takes hold of the Lotus Wand. As for her abilities, Agnese's primary weapon is the Lotus Wand, a metallic religious staff with an angelic statue on the head that allows her to channel the other elemental weapons through the principle of idol theory via making it represent the other elements. The staff allows her to create invisible blunt force attacks on an opponent or a cutting attack depending on the damage done on the staff, such as hitting the staff for the former and sliding a blade on it for the latter. Despite the delay of the command before the action could take place, Agnese is fond of the staff and knows how to wield it properly during combat and adjust and calculate the position of the target for better use of the staff. Unlike Orsola, Agnese does not focus too much on casting, as such she does not tire out when using the staff. By striking the ground with the staff, Agnese can create an explosion flash of light to temporarily blind her opponents. With this, a card added that I wanted to card on Orsola and Agnese. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.